Now, one guy who's been vocal about this whole situation, who is currently scheduled to fight on that card on January 26th, is the former Bellator and one championship welterweight champion, now a member of the UFC, and all of a sudden, a good friend of one Dana White. Who saw this coming? Ben Askren joins us right now. Ben, how are you?
Ariel, I'd say that's taking it a step too far, amigo.
What do you mean? Ben, I heard Dana on Friday saying, "I love Ben Askren. I love that kind of fighter. He's stepping up once."
I have utility to him now. I have utility to him. That's what it comes down to. So I can agree with your sentiment about the Tyron Woodley thing. I mean, he was a workhorse, and I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but he fought when he fought Robbie, Thompson, and Maya. I think that was all within a year, maybe even less than that. And so he was very busy for a period of time. Obviously, he's had these injuries, and he's been off. And frankly, there's nothing. It's bad luck, right? It's part of the game. There's nothing you can really do about it. And so, here's what. Let me just explain to you what's going on.
Please.
And I figured this out. I don't talk to these people, but I figured it out with my own deductive reasoning skills, of which I think are pretty good.
Okay.
So obviously, Tyron's hurt. I'm sure that's what he said. Is that what he said when he was on here a second ago?
Yeah. Well, no, he's not hurt. He just needs to get cleared, and he hasn't been cleared yet after the surgery.
Sure. So, okay. So, yeah, sure. He won't be ready for January 26th. So I was asked to fight January 19th. I said yes. My opponent said no. So obviously they had to move T.J. Henry to January 19th. So now that leaves us without a main event for January 26th. So they really wanted Tyron to do it. Tyron, he's just not healthy. They want to force it, but it just can't happen. There's just nothing he can do about it. It's really, really unfortunate. And so, then I look, okay, well, they need a belt fight. This is a pay-per-view. They do almost every pay-per-view. They do belt fights.
Mm-hmm.
Almost nobody's available. Look at the roster. You can go through them. They're not available.
Right.
So I'm realizing, hey, that's why they're pushing Tyron so hard. They need somebody. So then I realized, well, they might do an interim. And then I go ahead and I notice Usman just is incessantly calling out Colby Covington. So, wow, that's interesting. I bet Usman thinks they're going to give him an interim shot against Covington. Okay? And obviously Covington's scared of Usman, so he ain't saying nothing no more. He's a loudmouth. And when Usman called him out, he shut up real fast. And so I put all that together in my head. I called the UFC. I said, listen, I'll fight Usman or Colby. It doesn't really matter. And that's probably why Dana White likes me, is because at this point in time, Colby only wants to fight Tyron. Usman wants to fight Colby. Colby doesn't want to fight Usman. So they got this weird triangle going on. And listen, one of these losers, they're playing chicken, because what they don't realize is if both of them say no, UFC is going to ask me to beat one of them up, okay? And that's going to go down. So one of them just needs to say yes to each other. Otherwise, they're both screwed, because one of them's got to fight me. The other one, he's SOL. He's out of the picture. So they both lose. So right now, one of them's going to lose, or both of them are going to lose, one way or the other. And, these guys, and then Usman, he tries to go acting like he ain't hearing me. Listen, I got my following on Twitter and Instagram is significantly larger than Usman's and Covington's. I think it might be bigger than both of theirs put together, for what it's worth. I mean, they're acting like they don't hear me, but my voice is way, way, way louder than theirs is. So listen, and the Kamaru thing, Usman, like when I first saw him fighting, I'm like, hey, I think I know that dude. But what's this? It's Kamaru. Like when I knew him, he was Marty from Nebraska. I knew we were cool. Like he wrestled. He was on the international scene. He was Marty Usman from Nebraska. That's who I knew. And now he's Kamaru from Nigeria. And, these guys have been in the UFC for 4 years, pitching these gimmicks that they're both pushing so hard. One, the Nigerian Nightmare. Colby, the dumb redneck MAGA guy. And the fact that they're so uninteresting, that their followings are so tiny compared to mine, one of them should be saying, thank you, Mr. Askren. I will take an interim title shot against you, and let's call it a day.
As we sit here right now, and
did you get all that, Ariel?
Yeah, that was phenomenal.
I went for a while there.
It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. I mean, you went in many different places, and it was all great stuff. And that's what we've come to expect from you at this point. But I just want to make clear. It's still, as of right now, it's still January 26th against Robbie Lawler for you, right? That's still
Correct. I have a bout contract against Robbie Lawler for January 26th. But man, who ain't up for something bigger and better?
Right.
I am. I'm all up for it.
Is it not alarming that they asked you and Robbie to fight on January 19th and he said no? He said he wasn't ready, to the best of my knowledge?
Yeah, he said he needed more time. Bro, it's 7 days.
Yeah.
If you can't get ready 7 days early, I don't know.
Is the difference main event?
5 rounds.
Because
I think that's what that
okay.
was. That'd be my guess. That would be my guess, but I don't know for sure. Obviously, I like Robbie, so I don't know why he didn't say yes. I think that's unfortunate. But yeah, at this point, like I said, I'm fighting Robbie January 26th. But if something bigger and better comes along, I am not opposed to taking that opportunity. I'm going to take the opportunity that comes right through my door. And Colby and Usman, they're making it hard for the UFC right now. I'm making it easy. I'll fight either one of them. It's not too hard. Just sign me up. That's all you got to do. Sign up, and damn well I'm going to promote the fight better than both of them put together. You could put both of them versus me, and I'm promoted better than both of them.
The weird thing about it is, and I said this when the fight against Lawler was announced, Robbie Lawler was literally the only guy in the welterweight division that you did not call out, that you do not have a beef with. And I felt like, after that amazing debut of calling everyone out, to debut you against the one guy you don't have a beef with, kind of felt a little underwhelming.
Well, you know what, Ariel? The other guy I didn't call out was Marty Usman, because I knew Marty. We were cool. We knew each other. And so I didn't call him out either. I kind of liked the guy. And now, he's trying to act like he didn't hear me. One of my Twitter followers, 7 times as large as he is. Shut up, dude. And then, I don't know, I sent you that graph. I sent you a little picture so you guys could post up. I know Skype ain't working, and so I'm not going to get it word for word.
No, we have it. We have it on the screen right now.
Okay, hold on. So I said don't be a hypocrite, because you're saying to me, and you're doing exactly to me what Colby's trying to do to you. And really, it doesn't make you look good. It doesn't make you look cool. It just makes you look like a scared little bitch. And so then he has the balls to comment and say something like, "Oh, if you earn your right to fight me, I'll fight you." It's like, Marty, you don't understand this game. Okay, Marty, the correct response there was, "You curly-headed little shit, I'll beat your ass." That was what Marty should have said. If he had a good publicist or someone telling him what to say, that's what he would have said. But instead he said, "Oh, if you earned it, I'll fight you." Listen, I earned it. I have twice the following you do in every capacity. I'm 18-0. I haven't been beat. And if you want to make some money, you're going to fight me, because I'm going to throw the crap out of this fight.
Wow. And does it not open up a can of worms if you do fight for an interim belt and then you win the interim belt and your good friend is the official champion? I feel you've been very vocal about not fighting him, but then what are you going to do?
Yeah. We're not going to fight. We got it worked out. Me and him, we got this taken care of. You don't even worry about that.
How would you work that out? Dana White says to you, okay, you're the interim champ.
We already told the UFC how we're going to work it out. That's between me, Tyron, and them.
Oh, come on. Why? Why would you? Since when are you the type to hold out on us?
Well, because I can't tell you everything, Ariel. But just know that the issues have been worked out. Everything is in place for this to happen, and all they have to do is pull the trigger, because me versus Usman or me versus Colby is a way, way bigger fight than those two versus each other, and we all know that.
What do you think happens?
I think Colby's going to be a little bitch, and I think I'm going to fight Usman. That's what I think happens.
For the interim title?
That's what my feeling is.
On which date?
It's January 26th.
And would that be the main event?
Yeah, they need a main event. Who's their main event? Tell me who their main event's going to be.
Is it not crazy to institute an interim title after you just stripped someone of the interim title and then you brought it in prior to that when the champ had not been out for it's just a mess of a situation. I feel like this is the kind of situation that you would be making fun of if you weren't involved in it. You're very vocal, and that's why we love you. But I feel like this is the kind of situation you'd be laughing at.
When an opportunity presents itself, I'll just kick that damn door down. So I don't totally disagree with you. But listen, an opportunity in front of me, and I'm a dum-dum if I'm not going to take it.
Now, are you on phone calls with Dana White right now, strategizing how to get this done? Is that how close you guys are at the moment?
I know. I talked to Hunter Campbell last week. I have not talked to Dana at any point in time.
Oh, never? Not once?
No.
You did have an initial talk in New York, right?
No. I tried to grab him and talk to him for a minute, and he was busy and had somewhere to go.
You still have not had a conversation with Dana White?
No. I tell you that.
Isn't that weird? A phone call, something? Text message?
He doesn't really like me. It's fine. I'm here to fight people in the cage. I don't need to make best friends.
You're not hurt by this?
No, absolutely not.
But you are unblocked on all forms of social media, right?
I believe so. I don't really care. It was a more funny joke than anything. I think that might be the biggest tweet of all time because people found the humor in it.
It was great. But
so Ariel, tell me this.
Yes.
From number 1 to number 3.
Yeah.
Biggest fight: me versus Usman, me versus Colby, Colby versus Usman. Go.
Okay, this is what should happen. Can I tell you what should happen?
No. Answer my question. You're evading right now.
Okay, no. Okay, go ahead. Say them again. Say them again.
The 3 fights that could happen there: me versus Usman, me versus Colby, or Colby versus Usman. What is the biggest fight? 1 through 3.
But what about Woodley versus Colby?
Well, that can't happen. Tyron's hurt. They need this for UFC 233.
But he said he just needs to visit his doctor this week, and there's a chance his doctor will clear him. He has not said no to the fight. You see, this is my problem with this whole situation. And I know you'll agree with me on this one, Ben.
Yeah.
It is not your fault. It is not Tyron's fault. It's not Colby's fault or Usman's fault that the UFC can't find a headliner. And considering the fact that Tyron just fought in September 3 months ago, why should he be rushed into a title fight of this magnitude? And also, why should the fighters be a part of this whole interim title, this, that, that? And I get it, it brings more money, but it just kind of, it feeds into the pressure that they're trying to put on you guys to fight when you're not available, when you're not healthy, right? Like in this particular situation, I kind of feel like you should have Tyron's back.
When I talked to them, I stood up for Tyron. I said, you guys are trying to push him to fight when he's injured. It's very unreasonable. Additionally, I brought up the fact that he fought so many times. I mean, I want to say that it was less than a year stretch. He fought 4 times, I believe, if I'm correct. And that was more than any other champion had fought in that time period. So then if you go, you take the year for injury, but it's still 5 times in 2 years. I would venture to guess that's more than probably everyone except DC, I would guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any stats in front of me. That's just my feeling. So Tyron actually, despite the fact that he's been inactive, he has been actually fairly active. I stood up for Tyron, but one of the things I always say in life is like, there's a way that we want things to be. Now, there's also a way that things are. And unless we get a lot of power, unless we're way at the top, when we can influence change, we have to deal in realities. We can't deal in what we want to happen. Otherwise, we'll be left playing a game that doesn't exist.
That is profound. I like that. I see where you're coming from, and I appreciate you trying to
people do that.
Create some havoc and knock the door down. There's an opportunity there. It's knocking. You want to open the door. I get all that. To answer your question, because I will answer your question, I think you versus Colby is the sexier fight, but the fight that I want to see maybe more than any right now in the UFC that's not made, because of course there's John Jones coming back, all that, is Colby versus Tyron, and I don't want anything to get in the way of that.
But that wasn't an option.
So that means I'll pick you versus Usman as the answer to your question. Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay, well just tell Colby versus Usman. No one really wants to see that. Both those guys, they're trying to run a gimmick, and it's just not that good of a gimmick.
They do have heat. They got heat. I gotta admit, it dates back to.
A little bit.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Colby's so scared of it makes it not so good. I mean, if Colby wasn't so scared, it would actually respond in some way, shape, or form. It would make it a little more interesting.
And how about you getting a response from Conor McGregor? I mean, that's big time. You made it.
Was he drunk, though, or what? He had to be drunk, right?
I mean, he's taking... Listen, he took the bait. I think that's a sign of respect, if I'm being honest.
I'm going to put it as that. I'm pretty sure it's just had his phone handy and was going off.
No. I see. I appreciate you being bashful, but I think it was a major sign of respect. So as of right now, you know what I would also suggest? Why don't we get rid of the Anaheim card and load the deck for the debut on ESPN and move you versus Robbie 3-round fight to that card?
They already tried doing that. He already said no.
Even for a 3-rounder?
I don't know what he said. Maybe he just said no. That's all I know.
I think we need to revisit this whole. It's just why did they pick that fight? Did you ever ask them, of all the fights, of all the people you talked about, why him?
No, I said yes, because I didn't come here to pick my fights, and I didn't come here to. And this is why people are going to get annoyed with Usman and Covington right now. They're trying to pick their fights. Just shut up and fight. That's it, right?
Did you hear Chael's theory on why they booked you versus Lawler?
Probably says they want me to lose, and it's Dana likes him, and it's probably a bad matchup for me. That would be my guess.
Yeah. That he's essentially the hired gun to take you out.
Yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense. I can definitely see that for sure.
You think it's true?
Well, when I think of all the reasons they could have put me against him, that's the one that would make the most sense. And again, I don't know that for a fact. I'm just trying to use my deductive reasoning powers, and that's what I come up with.
Yeah, that is fun. Like if he actually comes out like Vince McMahon with his hired gun and says, "I'm taking you out. I brought you in to beat you."
He won't do it though, but it would be awesome.
It would be it'd be incredible. Imagine that. I hate Ben Askren. The sight of him and that curly hair drives me nuts. So I have called upon my OG, my guy, Ruthless Robbie Lawler, to take him out. After all these years, shut him up, knock him out. Wouldn't that be amazing? And I bet you'd love it.
God.
You'd love it.
I would love it. It would be so fantastic. Yeah, I don't know why. And listen, frankly, I would say if there's a reality of that situation, I would lean towards that one being the best possibility. And I don't know why you won't say it. It's fine. Like, listen, you don't have to like me. I taunted you for 5 years. Why would you like me?
Wow.
I have given you no reason to like me, except for the fact that I'm willing to fight other people. That's really it, you know?
This sport is so wacky that he's now showering you with praise. I saw it on the Scrum. Everyone saw it. He's talking about how you're one of his favorites right now. He loves fighters like you. It's amazing. What a time. It gives me hope, if I'm being honest.
What a time.
What is the final message? What do we want everyone to walk away from from this interview? What do we want the world to know? Because this thing is very confusing. It's like a four-way dance.
With the end of the week, me and Usman are going to be signed up to fight interim title bout. Robbie should have said yes to Brooklyn, and we'd all be good. That's what I think should happen.
So you predict that by the end of the week, it's going to be you versus Kamaru Usman on January 26th for the interim title fight.
Marty. Marty Usman. That's who I know. I know Marty from Nebraska. I don't know Kamaru from Nigeria. Ariel, I'm being so honest. I just me and you. We're just buddies talking. Like literally the first 3 or 4 times I saw that, I'm like, who? I'm like, that dude looks a lot like Marty from Nebraska. And sure enough, I look a little deeper. It's the same person.
When you knew him, you called him Marty.
That was his name. That's what you were supposed to call him. That's what I'm saying. I saw him. He said, Kamaru. I'm like, who is that? Like, that kind of looks like that dude I used to know. And then, sure enough, it was him.
Incredible. I'm so happy you didn't retire, Ben. I'm really happy about that.
All right.
Thank you.
I've had it with you.
Yes, I've had it with you as well.
That was fun.
Yes, it was a good time.
And you can bring me back on next week when that deal is done.
Okay. It's a date.
All right.
Thank you, Ben. All right. There he is, Ben Askren. I mean, how do you not love this guy? So he predicts that in the end, by the end of the week, it's going to be him versus Kamaru Usman for the interim welterweight title fight on January 26th.